Hello everybody, welcome back to another game of Rory Story Cubes. Today we're going to do 3 more stories based on 9 randomly rolled dice, and hopefully they will be good ones, or at least interesting ones. Who knows, we shall find out shortly. So in order to do that, I'm going to grab 9 dice, and of course once again, once I'm done rolling the 9 dice, you can go ahead and pause the video and make up your own story. And who knows, I might read it out next time when I do a video. Let's grab a few of them here. I think I have 3 of them. They're still in the box because I still need to finish the bag I was going to put them in. I haven't had time to do that. So until then we still have everything in the little plastic container. Alright, so that's 3 of them. This is 4, so that's 7. I still need 2 of them. And it's going to be this one and that one. This one and this one. There, those 2. Alright, let's go and roll these. I've got a slightly smaller area right now because I zoomed in the camera a little bit because it's getting a little bit late. I'm a bit late with recording today, so the sun is going down. I have to use a bit more artificial lighting today. Hopefully though it'll come out alright, so here we go. Up. There we go. We have a gnome, always good. We have a puzzle piece. We have a tree. We have a bear trap, which I believe we also had before, and this looks like a thing. What's this? A guy? It looks like a guy. This is the guy with a shield and a sword, and he's standing on top of a rock, and there's wavy things down there, and I'm not sure what the wavy things are. Could be anything. Right, we'll just leave that there. Maybe we'll come up with whatever the wavy things is that he's standing on top of. Maybe he's just destroyed a brain or something. No idea. Here come the next 4. There we go. Removing the head or destroying the brain. Here's an owl, and here is a teepee, and this is a squid, and this is a temple gate. Alright, so that's the first 9. Hope you can see them. Let's see if I get my lamp up a little bit brighter. Nope. Okie dokie, this is what we're gonna have to work with. Alright, so I hope you can see them anyway. Probably can, but it's a little bit darker than usual. Sorry about that. So make sure to pause the video here and do come up with your own story. Meanwhile, I'm gonna think about what I might be doing with these dice. Let's see now. And let's just get started with this guy because he's nice front and central. That one today was a gnome who wanted to go out and visit a temple nearby. He wasn't entirely sure where it was, but he had heard that it was on a mountain, which he would have to climb. It was above the clouds. You could see the clouds right here. And for that, he would need to travel a very long time. Of course, it took him a while to figure out the map. The map was quite difficult, like constructing a puzzle. But once he went on his way, he figured he would keep an eye on the big tree in the distance, because that's where he knew beyond the tree, he couldn't see it, and that's how big it was the mountain in the distance. So he would need to go to the tree and then go to the mountain beyond that. But before he could even get there, one day, the second day of traveling actually, he suddenly heard a snap, and then he felt a lot of pain in his leg because he had stepped into a bear trap, unfortunately. That's a really bad thing to happen because that's really sharp and it's quite a force that really grips your leg, so it's terrible. Anyway, so he started crying for help. And who heard them? It was an owl. An owl landed nearby on a branch of a different tree, not the big one, and asked what was the matter, which of course was fairly obvious, but owls aren't really that smart. I mean, people tend to think they're smart, but they're actually just dumb animals. So our gnome friend here started to explain that he was on his way to the mountain where he would find the temple, and of course for that he needed to get to the really big tree, but then he had stepped in this trap over here, which had prevented him from continuing his journey. Now the owl thought that was a very difficult trap to, basically, hello, how you doing everybody? Somebody honked the horn outside. To get him out of himself, but he did know someone who could help out. So he flew off into the distance, and he found the water that this guy was living next to in a teepee. It wasn't in the water. Sometimes he just liked to be outside of the water, occasionally dry off a little bit, lays around in the sunshine, and then in the shade, of course, in the teepee. And the owl was like, hey, I have a friend, or at least the guy I just ran into, he seems sympathetic enough. But he's stuck in a bear trap. Maybe you can help him out, because you got all these arms, and you could probably grab the bear trap with many different angles and then pull it apart. And Squid was like, okay, I guess I could do that. So the both of them flew back to the guy in the trap, because he could pick him up. There we go. So he was still in a trap and he was not happy. But then the squid pulled it apart with all of his arms and he was free once more. Hooray! And so he thanked his new friends and bade them farewell and told them that if he were to rise to the top of the mountain and find a treasure, or the temple might have a treasure in it, that he would certainly bring them something along that they could enjoy. And since the squid here was a very nice guy, he said, you know what, for a journey I shall lend you my teepee because it might be cold up there. So the gnome thanked him for that as well, and thanked his lucky stars that he had found such lovely people in this forest. He set off to the mountain, and then he got lost, because the puzzle map that he had before turned out to be incorrect, and he didn't find a tree, he never found the mountain. As a matter of fact, he couldn't even find his own house. He was well and truly lost to the world. But he still had a tent, so he could at least sleep in places that he'd never heard of before and couldn't pronounce the name of because it was a different language he had traveled so far, it was a different country, other end of the world. End of the story. So that was the first story. Unfortunately, he did not make it to his goal. Not every story has a happy ending, but this one, this one certainly doesn't. I mean, he's not dead, but he never came back, so I guess that's not good. He didn't reach his goal, and in the he never gave him his tent back either, or any treasure, but that for that matter, for his good friends. Alright, so that was the first story. Now let's grab 9 more dice for the next one. Oh, try some different ones, like this one. Reaching a bit far away from the microphone so it doesn't make too much noise. Let's see, these are the first 4. And these are the next 4. And then I want you. There's a paratrooper, there he is. Get him. Now let's roll these guys. Get these off to the side a little bit. Off the screen so you can't see them switching for other dice, which I might like better. Up. There we go. Here is a circlet. This is a flashlight. This is 2 masks like the theater ones. This is a grate with 2 eyes in it. This is one of the creepy dice, I think. Next 5. Oops, this is a sunrise, and this is a broken bone, and this is a hand waving or holding up or whatever it's doing. This is the judge's hammer, and this is a wheelchair. Alrighty then, well, pause the video here to come up with your own story. I'm going to see if I can come up with anything because there's no main character right here. That's going to make it slightly difficult. We shall see though. Alright. Let's see, I'm gonna grab these guys and take a look. One day, there was an actor. And he worked on the stage, and he had quite a good fortune, actually. People, they liked him, and they tended to wave at him as he walked down the street, because they recognized him. But not everybody liked him. As a matter of fact, there was a sewer monster who was not happy with this guy. And he ended up tripping the actor by letting him trip over one of his gates, where he stuck one of his slithery tentacles out. And he tripped on it, the actor did, and he broke a bone, which was terrible, so he had to go to the hospital. Now, of course, the actor wasn't crazy. He knew that he had walked past graves many times before, particularly that one, and there had never been a tentacle there, so he called the police. And the police found the monster, and they dragged him out of there, and they dragged him all to court because he wanted his money for the time spent in the hospital. Not only that, if you spend time in the hospital, you can't work as an actor, so you don't make any money. So he needed to get his income, his lost income back. And the trial was quite popular. Everybody came to see it, and it took like a whole night. When dawn came, there was finally a verdict. And the town ruled that actually the grill monster had no particular reason to attack this particular actor, and so he had to pay him whatever it cost him to, whatever he lost basically, and some compensation as well, which was enough for the actor to buy himself a new set of jewelry, which would be great on stage. And of course, once again, once he was back on stage, everybody cheered him, they were very happy to see him, and they applauded. And that was the end. Of course, the end of the play, not the end of the guy himself. He was fine, actually. He was a great, had a lot of money. This guy, not so much. But he had learned his lesson, and he wasn't going to do it ever again. And even went to see a show or 2 after the guy had recovered, because he wanted to know what the fuss was all about. And now he knew. And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
So that was the second story. Okay, so now let's put these aside as well and try to grab 9 more dice. 9 different dice, that is. Let's go over here. Here we go. I see the imp in the box already. Let's see if we can't grab that one. This is 5 of them. What is that thing on there? And this is 4 of them, so that's all the ones we need. These go to the side. Alright, let's go and roll these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of them, rather. Oops. A crown! Not quite a circlet from before. Let's see, this is a Trojan horse once again, and this is a clown. Why wouldn't you like to see one of those? An emergency food package, or whatever that is, a light bulb. Some very useful things at the moment. That is useful in most stories, not sure if I'll be able to use them. Hup. A hand coming out of the ground to wave at us. And this is a rain cloud, and a black cat, and a robot named Bob. At least it looks like it says Bob. It looks like it says Bob. Alright, so these are the dice for our last round of today. Make sure to pause the video here so you can make up your own story. I'm trying to talk over the bus running around outside, it was a bit noisy. Leave your stories, plural, in the comments below. I'd like to read them. Meanwhile, I think we should get started. Well, I already said it. There's this guy named Bob. We're starting with this interstellar robot named Bob. He had come down to Earth one day because he got lost. Basically, he was supposed to go to Jupiter, but he took the wrong turn. And now he was on Earth, and he wasn't quite sure what to do here. But it was an interesting place at least. Sometimes it rained, and he didn't really like that because it made his gear start to rust. But I also found extra parts in a junkyard, which you could use to replace like his arms and all that sort of thing whenever things got too rusty. And one day, he encountered what looked like a really strange creature, but it turned out to be a human dressed up like a clown. Because sometimes humans like to entertain each other and themselves. Not everybody thinks clowns are funny, but, well, nobody thought this clown was funny, because that's why he was in the junkyard. That's how Bob ran him into in the first place. Because he was there sitting all by himself, dejected, ejected from society. And he had in his hand a crown. Not a real crown, Bob noticed, because he scanned it to see what type of metal it was, and it was actually just plastic. It was one of the props used by the sad clown. And sad clown told him his story, but just as he was almost done telling the story, a hand came out of the ground and dragged him into the abyss. And Bob didn't know what to do with that. He dragged the clown into the abyss, not Bob. He wasn't interested in Bob for some reason. And Bob was like, okay, I just made a new friend. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I'm going to follow him down there. And so he did. And he encountered what looked like a black cat while he was down there. Which was a problem because he knew that people were superstitious because black cats were supposed to be, at least not give you very much fortune. They were misfortunates. So he thought, well, that might mean, he thought it, that if I encounter whoever dragged Bob down, or whatever his name was, there might be some problems there. So I'm going to make sure to put on a disguise. And so he searched his databanks and he found a story about this gigantic wooden horse that was given as a gift to a town under siege. And he thought, you know what, I could do that. I'll make one out of dirt, and I'll just lower myself down there in a dirt horse, and whoever took the clown will think that they are given a gift. They are getting a gift from God. A stone or clay horse from the heavens. And so he lowered himself down there on a parachute, and he found the clown surrounded by a whole bunch of cats. It was a whole colony down there, and they were planning on eating the clown for food. It's getting really dark, I just noticed. Hope you can still see everything. Alright, well, we're almost done anyway, so it's okay. The people there, the cats, they were cooking, or at least trying to start cooking with the water that they had collected from the rain. And the clown was sitting there looking all sad and miserable, even more miserable than before. But then the clay horse exploded, and there was Bob. And he was like, I have an idea, I'm going to scare off all these cats with my electronic gargling and things like that. And the cats were indeed intimidated, and they ran off in all directions. And then he grabbed the clown, and then he flew back off out of the hole, and the cats waved goodbye. There we go. And of course, after that, the clown gave him, Bob, the plastic crown to wear, because he was the king of the day, the savior of them all. He's the savior of this one particular clown that nobody liked, and that's why he was in a junkyard. There we go. So the clown was safe, Bob had a crown, and he had made a new friend, which was not eaten by cats. It was a good day. So that was that story. Hope you like it. Make sure to leave comments below. Make sure to leave your stories below. I'll thank you for listening and joining in. I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.